Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am talking all about luxury style mistakes. You guys may know I do love my luxury goods, but at the same time I have definitely realized over the years that just because something is priced very expensively doesn't automatically mean it's going to equal good style. So today I thought I would round up some of the luxury style mistakes that I've made in the past, some of the style mistakes I frequently see today, as well as tips on how to fix them. So I hope you guys enjoy this and let's get started. So mistake number one is the classic one of too many logos, and I feel like this is so easy to do, especially if you love luxury goods and especially if you're lucky enough to have a few beautiful luxury items. Maybe you don't get dressed up all the time, so you really want to try and pack in all your favorite things when you do get dressed up. But having too many logos can really have a detrimental effect to your overall look and really achieve the opposite of what you're going for. And this is definitely something that I am guilty of. I remember a few years ago when Gucci Marmont was all the rage and I loved my Gucci belt so much, I loved my Gucci bag so much, and I constantly paired them together. And now I look back at those photos and I think, like I should have maybe separated those out and only worn them one at a time. So it is easily done, and obviously there are more extreme examples of that, you know, head to toe Burberry looks come to mind, but even if you're mixing and matching brands, it can be so easy to have an oversaturated look. So, you know, maybe you're teaming a designer bag with a designer belt, maybe you have a little logo necklace, maybe a scarf, maybe a brooch, you know, it's so easy to combine different brands, but overall the look can be very overwhelming and simply too much when you do have a lot of big logos and brands on show. In terms of the fix, I would always say that subtlety in branding does tend to lead to a more luxurious look overall, and the way that I try and achieve that is by going with a clothing first approach to building my outfits. I used to build outfits around particular accessories, but I often find that they weren't as balanced that way, so I almost always try to go with clothes first, and I tend to start with my bottoms because that's usually what dictates the casualness or the more formal nature of the outfit. So I will go with, you know, jeans or a skirt or tailored trousers, whatever appropriate for the occasion. Then I'll go with my top, a blazer or an outerwear piece. I will then find some shoes to match, and from then on I will go with the extra accessories, and that's everything from a handbag to maybe a belt, a brooch if I'm wearing one, my jewelry, anything external that goes on top of my outfit. I find that's the easiest way to build a more balanced look that still incorporate my favorite items. Mistake number two is under or over accessorizing, particularly in the context of what feels natural to you. And you know, I always think it's fun to go out of your comfort zone and try new things, but I'm also a really big believer in staying true to how you like to dress. And this is definitely a mistake I've made in the past, whether I've seen a look on, you know, someone else, whether it's in a magazine. I try to replicate it, and even if I manage to get the exact same things, it never really translates to a really good look on me, just because it doesn't feel authentic to how I like to dress. And often that's things like, you know, layering up a gazillion pieces of jewelry. You know, I know some women can wear 4 necklaces and 6 rings and 10 bracelets and they just look so great and natural, that kind of style. For me, I am much more minimal when it comes to my accessories. I definitely prefer to have fewer pieces on. I just like to kind of complement with 1 or 2 key items rather than having a ton of jewelry on at any one time, because that's just what feels natural to me. So I would always say that the biggest mistake can be overdoing or underdoing it according to what doesn't feel natural. The fix for this can be a few things, but something that I found to really work for me is to have a smaller collection of everyday items that I swap in and out of. So when it comes to jewelry, I do have my wider jewelry collection that houses every single piece of jewelry that I own. But when it comes to picking items on a daily basis, I find that having the whole collection can feel a little bit overwhelming. So what I tend to do is I have a smaller collection, which is right on my vanity, of my favorite pieces at the moment, and I just tend to swap in and out of those, and then every now and then I will go ahead and I'll swap those out from my bigger collection. And that really helps to narrow down the choices. It helps to make the whole process feel a lot less overwhelming, and it really helps to make sure that I get the maximum use out of my whole collection. One of my favorite jewelry brands at the moment is Idyl. If you watch my videos regularly, you will probably have heard me mention them because I absolutely adore their pieces. They are very luxurious, made of very high quality materials, so they only deal with traceable solid gold and sustainable lab-grown diamonds, and their pieces are just stunning, and they work with a modular system. So how that works is is you get a few base key pieces and then you can build a collection out from that without having to buy a whole set over again. They are massively popular. Everyone from Mila Kunis to Eva Longoria has worn them, so they have a huge celebrity following. And the pieces are genuinely gorgeous and they do make up my core jewelry collection. And it's investing in key pieces like this that can really make it so much easier to get dressed and accessorize yourself on a daily basis, just because you don't have to put as much thought into it when you do have your core collection. So for me, that means my favorite bracelet. I mentioned these in my favorites video the other day, but I absolutely love them. They have a clasp, you can loop them together to achieve that really beautiful layered look without them moving all over the place, so it doesn't get messy when you're trying to layer up a few different styles. They literally just stay put all day long while still maintaining that beautiful layered look. Their earrings I'm also a huge fan of, and if you watch any of my vlogs you'll probably see me wear these pretty much all the time, because their beautiful leader necklace and their earrings are what I travel with every single time, because they go with literally every single outfit and they're also special enough to feel so fancy even on the nicest of holidays. I love the fact that you do have these simple studs and then you can swap in the different drop earring styles according to your preference and what look you're going for. So my favorites are the little drop stud ones. I have these in the emerald cut, the round ones, and then these beautiful teardrop ones as well. I also love the ear crawlers as well, because you can have those as little drop downs, but you can also have the traditional ear crawler style. There are just so many different styling options and it makes it so much easier to accessorize on a daily basis. I've also been layering in this gorgeous ear cuff. I've not traditionally been an ear cuff girl, but I love this thing so much. It has this beautiful double diamond band design, so easy to pop on, very, very comfortable to wear. I love the fact that it just gives a little bit of edge to my outfit whilst also seamlessly matching with everything else that I'm wearing. So I would definitely recommend investing in a jewelry system that you like, that suits your style, and that's easy to mix and match with your existing pieces, just to create an easy jewelry wardrobe that you can accessorize with on a daily basis. I love my Idyl Pieces. I will link all the items I have in the description section. I have a few, so I'll link up my absolute favorites, but they are a beautiful quality. They're true investments in your wardrobe as well, and I just get so much use and joy out of mine. Mistake number 3 is ignoring fit, and this is true even if it's the most expensive outfit in the world. If the fit is wrong, it's simply not going to look good. And again, this follows true even if you have the most incredible fabric, if you have amazing design. It really doesn't matter if the fit is wrong, and specifically if it's unflattering to you and your body shape. And that's such a common mistake that I certainly used to make myself, and certainly one that I see a lot, is going for what's trending and what looks good on other people versus what's flattering to you, because ultimately we are all different body shapes and you really have to dress for the body that you have rather than the trends that are out there, because otherwise it's just not going to translate. In terms of the fix, I would always say go for fit over trends. You know, trends are great to incorporate, but for me it always has to be fit first, figure out what's flattering, and then incorporate trends after that. And the biggest thing that has helped me in terms of figuring out what's flattering on me is actually YouTube. When I started filming myself way more, when I started taking more photos, it really helped me to figure out what was actually flattering on me, because whilst I would try things on in the mirror, often when you're looking in the mirror, you kind of angle yourself in a specific way and you don't always get the full picture. Whereas when someone just takes a photograph of you, it really does show you what actually looks flattering when you're not posed in the most ultimate way. So I would definitely recommend that. Whether you just grab your phone and put it on selfie mode, or you get someone to take a photo of you, take a few different photos in a few different kind of natural scenarios, and it really can help tell you what's actually the most flattering fit, and you can work from there in terms of figuring out your ideal wardrobe. Mistake number 4 is following every single trend, because ultimately luxury style isn't supposed to be about following every trend that comes along. It's supposed to be about enduring style that really complements you and your body and your lifestyle as well. So this is definitely something that I have learned to kind of step back from. It's so easy to get swept up in the excitement of trends, and I love following fashion, I love incorporating new trends, but it always has to be about incorporating rather than getting swept away with every single trend, because otherwise it's very easy to have your clothes wear you as opposed to the other way around. The fix for this is the easiest one, and it's always to invest in timeless pieces rather than chasing every passing trend. But I also know that it's fun to dabble in trends and to incorporate trends into your outfits. So for me, my golden rule is always to look at any trend piece and see if it can already be incorporated into my existing wardrobe. If I have to buy several new items in order to make that trend piece work, that is a red flag for me that that trend isn't for me and I should really reconsider before going for it. If, however, there's a trend piece that can easily slot into my wardrobe, it can go with so many things I already own, that's a really good sign that it's something that really suits my style, that will lift my existing outfits and will be really, really easy to incorporate into my daily looks. The next mistake is ignoring grooming, and that is everything from taking care of yourself to taking care of clothes as well. Those little details that really can make a huge difference. And if you have unkept hair and dull skin and dirty nails and creased clothes, it can ruin even the most expensive outfit, and it's actually quite a cheap thing to do. It just takes a little bit of consistency to do it. So for me, that is always a classic mistake when I don't feel like I'm, taking care of myself. It shows in my confidence and generally how I feel about myself. The fix here is an obvious one, but that is to invest in yourself and also into your wardrobe and your clothing pieces. And for the clothing and wardrobe side, it's really simple just to invest in a few key items that will really help to maintain your pieces. One I would always say as well, don't overwash. And I think this is a really common one. Obviously, you're going to want to wash your clothes when they're dirty or when they just need a general refresh, but I certainly don't try and wash my clothes every single time I wear them. I wear something and then I assess it afterwards. Does it need a wash? If so, I will always try and wash things on delicate in order to maintain them for as long as I can. Similarly, I always try and steam items rather than iron them all the time. I think it's a little bit more gentle on the fabrics. I try and just air dry when I can a lot of the time as well. I never tumble dry my clothes because it's a surefire way to ruin them in my opinion. So I always try and take a really gentle approach to my clothing. I also have a piler as well just to refresh my clothing as and when needed. When it comes to myself, I would say the easiest thing to do is to have tiny little routines that you do that are manageable to you. I have long since abandoned the idea of a 12-step skincare routine because it's simply not practical and feasible for me at this stage of my life. I am very busy, as I'm sure most of you are as well, and just spending that much time on my skincare isn't realistic. And I found the more ambitious I was, the more likely I was to skip it. So now my skincare routine is much more pared back, it's much more doable, so I do it all the time. And that is true of everything from skin to hair to nails. I try and simplify everything in order to make sure that I actually stick to it. The next mistake is combining too many colours and patterns, and not only is this quite hard to pull off, it will also probably mean it takes you longer to get ready, and often it can lead to quite a cluttered look, whereas actually the beauty of a really lovely luxurious look is it can be very, very simple in terms of the structure and nature. For the fix, I would always suggest really cultivating an amazing wardrobe of very solid basics in neutral colours. And I very much believe that this is the best starting off point, even if you like colour. If you don't like colour, then you can layer in more neutral items on top of that. But if you do like colour, it's still going to be much easier to get dressed if you have that neutral starting off point. And by basics here, I'm talking about all the usual suspects, from a great pair of tailored trousers to a really nice pair of fitting jeans to nice solid basic tops, from a classic white t-shirt to camisoles in neutral colours. Making sure you have those basic items so you can layer on your more kind of showstopper pieces. It's the easiest way to create a wardrobe that you're really gonna love and that's easy to get dressed from in the morning. And finally, the last mistake that I have definitely learned over the years is very important to pay attention to. It is skimping on footwear, because footwear, it doesn't always have to be the star of the show, but it can very easily ruin your whole outfit, even if you really carefully put together every other piece. So I would always say it is worthwhile investing in good footwear. Good footwear doesn't necessarily mean expensive footwear, but good footwear that's going to be comfortable and long lasting is definitely always a worthy wardrobe investment. So for me, I would always go simple here, and I love a good statement shoe as much as the next person, but I think there is a time and a place for a statement shoe, and in terms of making sure you have a very functional, very useful wardrobe, I would definitely say it is essential to get your basic footwear items right, and that's going to vary from person to person, but to start with, I would go with a great simple pair of heels that you can actually walk in and that you love. I would always go for the classic court shoe shape. I would then go for a very classic pair of flats. My preference is a ballet flat, but whatever works for you and your foot shape. Then I would go for a nice simple pair of sneakers that will go with everything. I tend to prefer them much more neutral, so they will literally go with everything, but again, it's down to your personal preference. I would then go for a very simple pair of flat sandals, again, something nice for the summer, and then a nice classic pair of boots. Most people will probably have more than 5 pairs of shoes, but actually if you have those 5 pairs, it can apply to so many different outfits, and you'll actually find that most of your footwear needs are covered. As I mentioned before, you don't have to go super pricey with your footwear choices. In fact, often the more expensive brands can be way more uncomfortable than some cheaper counterparts. So price definitely doesn't equal good when it comes to footwear. But I would say that if you go for more of that mid-range price point, you're more likely to get a shoe that is very comfortable and also that's going to last you a very long time as well as look the part too. So by no means do you have to spend a ton of money, but I do think it's worthwhile investing in slightly higher quality footwear that is going to look the part, but also hopefully make sure that you're actually comfortable in the process too. So that wraps up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my points in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please give this a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.